Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. If you enjoy our stories, please subscribe and leave a like. It means everything to us. Please share this video with someone you care about and switch on post notifications so you won't miss any future videos. Thank you for always supporting. Now, relax and let's begin. Rain fell like it was angry with the whole city. Joy clutched papers like a baby. His thin shoulder pressed hers, shielding her from wind. His lips were pale, but he didn't cry. He only watched the world carefully, cars, faces, shoes, like a child, learning what danger looks like. Joy whispered, "Just hold on, my son, just today." A black SUV rolled to a stop near the gate. Tim Duru stepped out, adjusting his suit as the rain spotted it. Dave Eze opened an umbrella quickly. Tim's eyes were already tired, rich tired, lonely tired. Then he saw Harry stand up to shield Joy from the splash of a passing bus. The boy's stubborn courage hit Tim like a memory trying to wake up. Tim paused, staring too long. Dave muttered, "Ogre, let's go." Tim didn't move. Something in his chest pulled, quiet and unfamiliar, like a door he didn't remember locking. Tim approached slowly, careful not to scare them. Joy's back stiffened immediately, pride rising like a shield. Tim pointed at the bench under the hospital canopy. "You two should sit where it's dry." Joy shook her head. "We're fine." Her voice was steady, but her hands trembled around the envelope. Tim signaled Dave, who returned with 2 meat pies and bottled water. Tim offered them gently. Joy's eyes flashed. "I'm not begging, sir." Harry accepted the bottle with both hands, like he had been taught manners even in hardship. "Thank you, sir," he said, voice soft but clear. Tim stared at the boy's face, those eyes, that calm focus. It unsettled him. Harry didn't snatch the food. He broke it in half and offered the bigger piece to his mother first. Joy's throat tightened. Tim swallowed hard. "Your son is strong," he said quietly. Joy looked away, whispering, "He has no choice." Tim felt the words land deep, like blame meant for him. They ate in silence while rain softened into drizzle. Tim watched Joy's careful movements, how she kept her body between Harry and strangers, how she hid the hospital papers whenever someone passed. "You came for treatment?" Tim asked. Joy answered without looking at him. "We came for hope. They said we should pay first." Her voice cracked only once. Tim felt anger at the system, but also something more personal, an old guilt stirring. He exhaled and said the sentence before fear could stop him. "You can live in my old house." Joy turned sharply. "Old house?" she repeated, as if the words were a trap. Dave leaned close to Tim. "Ogre, this one fit be set up. Make we no carry problem enter our life." Tim glanced at Dave, then back at Joy. "It's not charity," he said quickly, almost harshly. "It's empty. You need a roof, that's all." Joy's eyes narrowed. Nothing good comes free. Tim's jaw tightened. "Then consider it a loan of space." Harry watched Tim like he was weighing his soul, not his money. The taxi dropped them at a quiet street where houses sat like tired old men behind gates. Joy held Harry's hand so tight his fingers went numb. The gates opened with a stubborn groan. Inside was a small bungalow, clean, plain, and strangely calm. Not a mansion, not a show, just safety. Joy walked room to room as if she expected someone to jump out and shout, "Got you." She touched the wall once and felt a sudden, sharp familiarity that made her chest ache. She pulled her hand away like it burned. Harry stood at the doorway of the smallest room and smiled for the first time in days. "Mommy, it smells like soap," he whispered. Joy's eyes watered, and she hated herself for it. "Don't get used to it," she warned, voice tight. She found an old curtain folded neatly in a cupboard, and an unfamiliar sense of being watched crawled up her spine. Outside, Rain began again, softer this time. Harry walked to the veranda and looked at the street like it was a map. In his mind, this house wasn't locked. It was a clue. That night, Joy laid a wrapper on the floor for Harry, refusing the bed like comfort was a sin. "Listen to me," she said, low and firm. "We don't make noise here. We don't invite anybody. We don't talk to neighbors. We don't trust gifts." Harry nodded, obedient, but his eyes stayed sharp. Joy pointed at the gate. "If anyone asks who we are, you say nothing," Harry whispered. "Even if it's him," Joy froze. "Who?" Harry shrugged quickly. "Nobody." In the morning, Joy cleaned every corner, as if scrubbing could erase fear. Harry watched the street through the curtain. He memorized the house number. He counted the distance to the junction. He watched which neighbors swept early and which watched too much. When a woman across the road stared too long, Harry leaned toward Joy and murmured, "Mummy, she has sharp eyes." Joy forced a smile. "Then keep yours down." Harry obeyed, but later he traced the letters on the old mailbox. T. Duru, faded, but still there. His heart beat like a secret drum. Tim returned to his penthouse that night and stared at the city lights like they were mocking him. He tried to read, but his mind kept replaying Harry's polite voice and Joy's guarded face. He told himself, "It's pity, it's guilt, that's all." Yet his fingers reached for his phone and opened the security app connected to the old house. The gate was shut. The lights were off. Two shadows moved inside, small, careful. Tim's chest tightened. "Why do I care?" he muttered. Dave knocked lightly and entered. "Ogre, you never day like this," Dave said. Tim snapped, then softened. "Just check on them tomorrow. Don't let them know." Dave raised an eyebrow. "You dey fear say them go run?" Tim stared at the screen again. "I fear many things." Dave didn't push. He only nodded. Later, when Tim finally slept, his dreams were restless laughter, a woman's voice calling his name, a child crying somewhere far. He woke before dawn with sweat on his neck, and one word stuck in his throat: joy. Tim came to the old house with a toolbox and a plan to act normal. Joy opened the door a crack, eyes suspicious. "Good morning," Tim said. "The tap outside leaks. I came to fix it." Joy didn't invite him in. Harry appeared behind her, barefoot, watching. Tim crouched to the tap, hands working, heart racing for no reason. Harry stepped closer and asked quietly, "Sir, do you keep promises?" Tim paused mid-turn. "Yes," he answered, surprised by the question. Harry's gaze didn't blink. "Do you shout when you're angry?" Tim swallowed. "I try not to." Harry nodded like he was recording evidence. Joy hissed, "Harry, stop troubling him." Tim wiped his hands and forced a small smile. "It's okay." Harry asked another, softer. "Do you leave people and not come back?" Tim's throat tightened so hard it hurt. He looked at the boy's face, searching for the reason he felt exposed. "Sometimes I made mistakes," he said carefully, "but I'm learning." Harry nodded again, satisfied, and stepped back like a judge. By the time Tim's SUV rolled out, whispers had already started. The neighbor with sharp eyes, Mrs. Kemi, leaned over her fence and called, "Auntie, who be that rich man wey come?" Joy's stomach dropped. She forced a laugh that sounded wrong. "Just the landlord," she lied. Mrs. Kemi's eyes glittered. "Landlord, key? That one na Tim Duru. Everybody know him car." Joy's hands shook as she pulled Harry inside. The walls suddenly felt thin, like gossip could seep through cement. That evening, Joy began packing silently. Harry watched her fold their few clothes with shaking fingers. "Mommy, why?" he asked. Joy's voice broke. "Because when people notice you, trouble comes." Harry's jaw tightened, far too grown for his age. "But we didn't do anything." Joy swallowed tears. "Sometimes innocence doesn't protect you." Harry looked toward the gate. Is it because of him? Joy snapped. Stop saying him. Then she sat on the floor and pressed her forehead to her knees, whispering, Please, God, not again. The next day, Tim returned with groceries in the boot: rice, beans, noodles, milk, and medicine. Joy opened the door and stiffened. No, she said immediately. We didn't ask. Tim's face hardened, then softened again. It was extra, he lied. Take it, or throw it away later. I won't argue. Joy's eyes filled with angry tears. You think I'm a beggar? Tim flinched. I think you're a mother, he replied, voice low, and mothers shouldn't watch their children starve. Joy's pride fought her hunger. Her hands trembled as she accepted the bag, not looking at him. Tim glanced at Harry, who stood quiet but alert. School, Tim said suddenly. Does he go? Joy's mouth tightened. Not now. Tim nodded once. He should. Joy scoffed bitterly. You don't know what should happen in my life. Tim's eyes looked pained. Maybe I don't, but I know what shouldn't. He left quickly, as if staying would crack him open. Joy shut the door and cried silently, ashamed of needing, ashamed of feeling seen. Harry waited until Joy fell asleep from exhaustion. Then he opened the brown envelope gently, like it held a fragile truth. He found hospital papers, eviction notices, and a folded photograph tucked inside a thin book. Joy in her youth smiling, eyes bright, standing beside a young man in a simple shirt. The man's smile looked like Tim's, softer but unmistakable. Harry's heart thumped wildly. He whispered, So it's true. Joy woke and found him holding the photo, her face drained of color. Give me that, she snapped, snatching it like it was dangerous. Harry didn't argue. He only stared at her, wounded. Mommy, why didn't you tell me? Joy's hands shook as she stuffed the photo back. Because some truths destroy, she hissed. Harry's voice trembled. Or maybe they save. Joy's eyes glistened. Harry, listen, he doesn't want us. Harry's brows pulled together. How do you know? Joy turned away, swallowing sobs. Because I begged once, and nobody answered. That night, Joy dreamed of a younger Tim laughing in a small room, promising, I'll come back tomorrow. In the dream, she waited with a swollen belly and a hopeful heart. Then the door never opened again. She woke with a strangled sound, sitting upright, sweat cooling on her skin. Harry stared on the mattress beside her. Mommy? He whispered. Joy forced steadiness. Sleep. But her voice carried fear like smoke. In the morning, Harry followed her into the kitchen and asked softly, When you were young, were you happy? Joy froze, staring Pap too hard. Don't ask me that, she said. Harry didn't flinch. Is he my father? Joy's spoon slipped and clattered. She turned sharply. Harry, I said, stop. Harry's eyes shone with tears. He refused to drop. I'm tired of not knowing. Joy's chest tightened until breathing hurt. Knowing didn't help me, she whispered. It only broke me. Harry's voice softened. But it might help me. Joy looked away, silent and shaking. Harry stood by the window, watching children in uniforms pass. His mouth moved as if reading their laughter. Joy tried to act busy, but her heart cracked with every passing backpack. Mommy, Harry said gently, I can go too. I will do well. Joy's throat tightened. We don't have money. Harry's voice was small. We didn't have money before, but you still taught me. Joy blinked hard and turned away. This is different. 2 days later, a man came to the gate with a school admission letter and a uniform package. Joy's hands shook as she read the name. Harry A.H.E.B. Who sent this? She demanded. The man replied, Anonymous sponsor. Joy's eyes narrowed. She marched to Tim's office address she found online, heart pounding with anger and fear. Tim met her at the reception, surprised. I didn't want to embarrass you, he said quietly. Joy's voice rose, trembling. Don't control my life with your money. Tim's eyes softened. Then, let me support his future with my silence. Monica Duru noticed everything. A small payment flagged under property maintenance annoyed her like a fly. She called Tim immediately. Why are you spending on that old house? She asked, voice sharp. Tim's answer was, too quick. The pipes burst, that's all. Monica's laugh held no warmth. You are lying. Tim clenched his jaw. Mother, drop it. Monica's tone turned icy. Don't speak to me like that. I made you. Later that afternoon, Monica visited Tim's office unannounced. She sat across from him like a queen, judging a servant. Tim, your name is not just yours, she said. It is a brand. Tim's eyes darkened. I'm not a product. Monica leaned forward. If you are hiding a woman, it will ruin you, and it will ruin me. Tim's voice stayed controlled, but pain leaked through. Why do you always talk like love is dirt? Monica's stare hardened. Because love makes men foolish. Then she stood and made the call that changed everything. Tamara, come. Something is happening. Tamara King arrived, looking perfect, hair sleek, smile polished, perfume expensive. She kissed Tim's cheek like cameras were watching. Baby, your mother sounded worried, she said sweetly. Tim forced a smile. She worries about shadows. Tamara's eyes flicked. Shadows usually belong to something real. When Tim turned away, Tamara's smile faded. She already hated whatever was pulling his attention away from her. That night, Tamara called the contact quietly. I need information, she said, voice soft but sharp. Tim has an old house he suddenly cares about. The voice on the line replied, I'll check. Tamara walked to the mirror and studied her own face. No poor woman will ruin my plan, she whispered. She thought of the engagement announcement, the magazine covers, the future power. Then she remembered the way Tim had been distant lately, like his heart had traveled somewhere without her permission. Tamara's jealousy wasn't loud. It was calculated, and it was hungry. Days passed, and slowly the house began to change. Joy hung clean curtains. She cooked small meals and saved leftovers carefully. Harry started sleeping without waking from nightmares. One afternoon, Joy heard him laugh at a cartoon, and her knees nearly gave way. She leaned on the doorway, eyes burning. This is how normal people live, she thought. Then fear rushed in because normal never lasted for her. Harry returned from school with dust on his shoes and joy on his face. Mommy, I answered in class, he said, excited. Joy smiled automatically, then caught herself. Don't make noise, she warned out of habit. Harry frowned. Mommy, we are safe. Joy's voice broke. Don't say that. Harry stepped closer, gentle. Why? Joy stared at him, her whole life in her eyes. Because when you say safe, life hears you and becomes jealous. Harry hugged her waist carefully, like he was holding a fragile thing. Then, let it be jealous, he whispered. I'm tired of fear. Tim began visiting the old house like a man trying not to admit he needed it. He fixed the broken hinge, changed the bulb, repaired the fence latch. He always stayed outside, always kept distance, as if stepping too close might unlock something he couldn't handle. One evening, he sat on the veranda steps, not speaking. The quiet between them felt heavy, but not hostile. Joy watched him from the doorway, confused by how lonely a rich man could look. Harry came out holding a cup of water with two hands. Sir Tim, he said softly, you're sweating. Tim blinked at the name Sir Tim, like it reached into him. He accepted the cup, fingers brushing Harry's. A small shock passed through Tim's body. Harry sat on the step below him, like a respectful guest. Tim tried to joke. So, school, you like it? Harry nodded. Yes, I like books. They don't lie. Tim's smile faded. People do, he murmured. Joy stiffened. Harry tilted his head. Do you lie? Tim's throat tightened. I used to, he said honestly. Now I'm tired of it. Harry began planting small hints like seeds. He wrote TD on the corner of his homework page and left it on the table where Tim usually set his tools. He hummed a lullaby Joy once sang when she thought he was asleep. Tim heard it and froze mid-step. The tune hit him like a hand gripping his heart. "Where did you learn that?" Tim asked, voice rough. Harry shrugged casually. "My mom sings it sometimes." Joy turned quickly, eyes wide, warning Harry silently to stop. That night, Tim drove home disturbed. In his office, he opened an old drawer and pulled out a faded notebook from his youth. Inside was the same lullaby written in messy handwriting, Joy's handwriting. Tim's stomach dropped. He stared at the page until his eyes hurt. Dave entered quietly. "Oga, you there all right?" Tim didn't look up. "Dave, if a man abandoned something precious and forgot, does he deserve to find it again?" Dave hesitated. "If you're ready to carry the pain of amends, maybe." Tim swallowed hard. "Then I need truth." Joy cornered Harry in the kitchen the next morning. "You will stop it," she said, voice low and fierce. "Stop looking at him like that. Stop singing. Stop asking questions." Harry's lips tightened. "Why?" Joy slammed the spoon down. "Because you will get hurt." Her eyes glistened. "And I can't watch you break." Harry's voice shook, but he stood firm. "Mommy, I'm already hurt. I just don't cry." Joy's breath caught. Harry stepped closer, whispering, "I'm not begging, Mommy. I'm finding." Joy's knees weakened. She turned away fast, pretending to wash plates. "Finding what?" she asked, voice thin. Harry's answer came softly, deadly. "My father." Joy's hands trembled in the water. "He's not your father," she lied quickly. Harry didn't argue. He only said, "Then why does he look at me like he lost something?" Joy's tears dropped into the sink. "Because some men regret," she whispered, "and regret is not the same as love." Harry replied quietly, "Let me see for myself." Tim hired a private investigator, but his instructions were strange. "Don't harass her," he warned. "Don't frighten them. I just need facts." The investigator nodded. "Name?" Tim hesitated before saying it. "Joy Ahmed." Before that, she had another surname. The words tasted like memory. Tim's palms were damp. He didn't want to be wrong, but he feared being right even more. Days later, the investigator returned with a thin file. "Joy Ahmed is an alias," he said. "Her old name appears in a hospital record from 8 years ago, a prenatal clinic." Tim's vision blurred. "Any father listed?" The investigator shook his head. "Blank." Tim's jaw clenched. "Because someone made it blank," he whispered. The investigator added, "There's also evidence she tried contacting your former assistant years ago." Tim's heart punched his ribs. He remembered Monica's control, her obsession with clean image. Tim's voice turned cold. "Find out who blocked her." The investigator nodded. Tim stared at the file, whispering to himself, "Harry, what are you to me?" Monica stormed into Tim's office like she owned the air. "Enough," she snapped. "Tell me who she is." Tim stood slowly, controlled anger sharpening his face. "You don't get to demand my private life." Monica's eyes flashed. "I built this empire's respectability. You will not stain it." Tim's laugh was bitter. "Respectability or fear?" Monica slammed her handbag on the table. "Don't insult me." Tim's voice rose for the first time in years. "I'm tired of living for your approval." The room went quiet. Monica blinked, shocked by his defiance. "So it's true," she whispered. "You're hiding a woman." Tim's chest heaved. "I'm protecting a mother and a child." Monica's lips curled. "A child?" Tim froze. Monica smiled thinly. "You are a fool, Tim. Women use children like chains." Tim's eyes darkened. "Not this one." Monica stepped closer, voice low and cruel. "If you don't end it, I will. And when I do, you will hate yourself for thinking you could fight me." Tamara arrived at the old house wearing heels that didn't belong on that quiet street. Her smile was wide and empty. Joy opened the gate slightly, instantly tense. "Good afternoon," Tamara said sweetly. "I'm Tamara, Tim's fiancée." The word fiancé hit Joy like a slap. She forced her face calm. "What do you want?" Tamara's eyes scanned Joy's worn slippers, her tired blouse, her guarded posture. Then her gaze shifted to Harry and sharpened. Harry stood beside Joy, silent, studying Tamara the way he studied storms. Tamara crouched slightly, as if to appear kind. "Hello, handsome," she said. "What's your name?" Harry answered politely. "Harry." Tamara smiled, but her eyes were calculating. She noticed the boy's cheekbones, the shape of his mouth, the quiet confidence. Her heart studded with suspicion. Joy felt it and stepped forward. "He's a child," Joy warned. Tamara chuckled lightly. "Of course, I'm only saying he looks like someone." Joy's throat tightened. Tamara stood and said softly, "Tell Tim I stopped by. We should all be transparent." 2 days later, Tamara returned with a neat envelope. She didn't even pretend warmth this time. "Joy, right?" she said, voice smooth. "I came to help you start over somewhere else." Joy didn't take the envelope. "We're fine." Tamara's smile slipped. "Fine? In a house that isn't yours." Joy's eyes flashed. "Tim offered it." Tamara leaned closer, whispering, "Tim is kind. Kind men are easy to trap. Don't do that." Joy's chest burned with anger. "You don't know me." Tamara's tone became sharp, impatient. "I know your type. Women who appear helpless but carry secrets." Joy stepped back as if Tamara's words were poison. "Leave," Joy said, voice shaking. Tamara's eyes hardened. "Don't be difficult." Joy's laugh came out bitter. "So this is help?" Tamara straightened her dress. "This is removal," she said coldly, then forced a smile again. "You can take the money and disappear quietly, or you can refuse and be removed loudly. Choose." When she left, Joy's hands trembled. Harry whispered, "Mommy, she's dangerous." Joy nodded, whispering, "I know." Dave began noticing strange things. A tinted car parked too long near the junction. A man pretending to buy snacks while staring at the old house. Dave's instincts screamed trouble. He told Tim that evening, voice urgent. "Oga, them they watch the woman." Tim's face tightened. "Who?" Dave hesitated. "Madam Monica people fit they involved, and that your fiancée. She no pure." Tim slammed his hand on the table. "Tamara went there?" Dave nodded. "Yes, and since then, the street don't change." Tim's chest tightened with fear he didn't want to name. Not fear for scandal, fear for them. He grabbed his car keys. Dave stepped in front of him. "Oga, calm down. If you rush go, you go show them, say them matter." Tim's eyes were wide. "They matter because that boy," he stopped, swallowing the truth. Dave softened. "Oga, you they love them already." Tim's voice broke slightly. "I don't know what I feel, but I know I can't lose them." Dave nodded. "Then protect them quietly, but protect them well." That night, Joy packed like she had done 100 times fast, silent, trembling. She folded Harry's uniform carefully, as if respecting his hope. Harry watched her with panic rising in his eyes. "Mommy, please," he whispered. "Not again." Joy didn't look at him. "We're leaving before they shame us." Harry stepped forward, voice cracking. "Where will we go?" Joy's lips trembled. "Anywhere is better than being thrown out like dirt." Harry's eyes filled, but he refused tears. He grabbed her wrist gently. "Mommy, stop," he pleaded. Joy yanked her hand away. "Don't touch me. I'm trying to save you." Harry's voice rose, desperate but controlled. "Save me from what? From my father?" Joy froze. The room went silent. Harry swallowed hard, then whispered the line that shook her bones. Mommy, please, I already found him. Joy's bag dropped from her hand. She sat slowly on the bed, breath leaving her. Harry, she whispered broken. You don't know what you're saying. Harry knelt in front of her. I know what I feel. The cold came that night like punishment. Harry's body burned with fever, his small frame shaking under the blanket. Joy sat beside him, wiping his forehead with a damp cloth, whispering prayers with trembling lips. God, don't take him, she begged. He's all I have. Harry's eyes fluttered open, unfocused. He reached out weakly, fingers searching. Mommy! Joy held his hand tight. I'm here. Tim arrived at the gate with Dave, alarmed by Dave's report. He stepped into the room and froze at the sight of Harry trembling. Joy turned, eyes red, voice sharp with fear. Why are you here? Tim ignored her question and moved closer. Harry's lips parted, voice faint, spilling truth without permission. Daddy, he whispered. Don't leave us again. Tim's chest cracked open. He stumbled back, tears burning his eyes. He walked outside into the compound, rain starting again, and pressed his palm to his mouth to silence the sound of his breathing. Dave stood behind him, quiet. Tim whispered into the night, God, is he mine? Morning came heavy. Harry slept finally, breathing softer. Joy stepped outside to where Tim stood near the veranda, eyes swollen, suit creased, pride stripped away. Joy's voice shook. Please, she said, don't play with my child's heart. Tim turned slowly, pain playing on his face. I'm not playing, he said hoarsely. I'm terrified. Joy's laugh was bitter and small. Terrified of what? Being linked to poverty. Tim shook his head hard. Terrified of being the reason you suffered. Joy froze. Tim took a step closer, but stopped himself, respecting her space. I didn't know, he said, but I feel like I should have known. Joy's eyes filled. Feelings are not facts, she snapped, because softness would make her fall. Tim nodded slowly. Then give me facts, he pleaded. Not for my pride, for him. Joy looked back at Harry sleeping, and her whole life flashed through her eyes. Facts cost me everything once, she whispered, and I'm scared they'll cost him too. Joy sat across from Tim at the small dining table, hands clasped tightly. I loved you, she began, voice raw. Tim's breath caught. Years ago, before the money made you hard. Tim closed his eyes, a memory trying to form. Joy continued. When I found out I was pregnant, I tried to reach you. I called your office. I sent messages. I even came to your gate. Her voice shook. Your people turned me away. Tim's jaw tightened. Who? Joy swallowed. A woman, older. She said you were busy building a future, and I was a mistake. Tim's face went pale. My mother, he whispered, horror rising. Joy nodded, tears falling now. She offered me money to disappear. I refused. Then your assistant stopped answering. Then you stopped existing in my world. Tim's hands shook. I had an accident around that time, he murmured. My memory, pieces are missing. Joy's laugh came out painful, so I became missing too. Tim's eyes burned. Joy, I swear, I never wanted you to suffer. Joy leaned forward, voice fierce. I didn't come for money, Tim. I came for safety. I came because my son deserves a name that won't be spat on. Tim's voice broke, and I deserve a chance to be his father. Monica arrived with 2 lawyers, her perfume entering before her. She didn't greet Joy properly. She looked around the modest house like it was contaminated. So, Monica said coldly, this is where you've been hiding. Joy stood, shoulders tense. Tim stepped forward. Mother, leave. Monica smiled thinly. I came with a solution. One lawyer placed a neat envelope on the table. Monica tapped it. Money, a new apartment far away, and an agreement of silence. Joy's hands clenched. No. Monica's face hardened. Don't be dramatic. You should be grateful my son even looked at you. Tim's eyes flared. Stop! Monica ignored him and looked at Harry, who stood quietly behind Joy. Monica's lips curled. And this one, baggage. You think you can use a child to chain my son? Tim exploded. Enough! His voice shook the room. You will not insult him. Monica's eyes widened. Timothy Duru. Tim cut her off, voice trembling with rage and pain. If you ever call him baggage again, you will lose me completely. Monica's smile vanished. She leaned close, whispering poison. Choose wisely, blood or reputation. Tim's reply was immediate, deadly. Blood. Monica dragged the matter into the open by leaking rumors to a small blog. Billionaire Tim Duru shelters homeless woman and child. By evening, phones rang, staff whispered, and Tamara arrived with cameras waiting outside. Tim called a meeting family, key staff, and security. Joy sat quietly in a corner, face pale, while Harry held her hand under the table. Tamara stood like a statue, smiling as if she owned the room. Monica watched with cold satisfaction. Speak, she demanded. Tell them this is nonsense. Tim rose slowly, his voice calm but shaking underneath. I will not pretend anymore, he said. I met Joy and Harry at the hospital. I offered them shelter because they needed it. Tamara scoffed. So you are a hero now? Tim's eyes cut to her. No, I'm a man correcting mistakes. Monica snapped. Mistakes? Tim inhaled deeply and delivered the line that silenced the room. If he's mine, I failed him once. If he's not mine, I still won't abandon a child who has known neglect. Joy's breath caught. Harry's eyes filled as he clung to Tim's leg like breath returning. Tim looked down, voice breaking. This ends today. The DNA test came back quietly, without drama, just a sealed envelope and shaking hands. Tim opened it alone first, then sank into a chair as the words confirmed what his heart had been screaming. Harry is his son. Tim covered his face, not from shame, but from grief. Years lost. First steps missed. School days he never saw. He walked to the old house slowly, like a man approaching a miracle he didn't deserve. Joy opened the door and saw his face. She didn't need the paper. She already knew. Her tears fell anyway. Tamara left without a fight because there was no fight that could win against truth. Monica's pride cracked, not into softness, but into silence. Tim didn't celebrate loudly. He sat with Harry on the veranda and said, I'm sorry I wasn't there. Harry's voice trembled. Will you go again? Tim shook his head firmly. Not if I'm alive. Joy watched them, heart aching with both love and fear. Tim turned to her gently. We will heal slowly, he promised. Joy whispered, almost like prayer. Slowly is all I can trust. Harry leaned into Tim's side, and for the first time, the word home didn't sound like a lie. We've come to the end of the story. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Leave a like, share, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notification. Thank you so much for watching.